Exactly. So we are going to get started today on first and third at 3. Thank you guys so much for joining me from my home office, as some of you probably are at your home offices as well. I believe I just muted everyone. We were just getting a little bit of feedback. So if you have a question or if you have a comment, just go ahead and unmute yourselves, or you can type it in the chat box as well, and I will hopefully pay attention to those. But if I miss anything, just let me know. So we are going to be talking about MoxiEngage and how we want to really engage our agents into using the product. And now more than ever, it's important for them to get in there and start playing around with getting their contacts in, getting their goals set. That way their managers can keep in touch with them through this process. As some of you know, in the state of Michigan, we were deemed non-essential. So we did have to shut down all of our offices. In Ohio and Florida, we are still operating, but a lot of people are, for given reasons, childcare, quarantine issues, are staying home. So we really do want to engage our agents as much as possible, and this can be a great way to do it. Somebody said that they have no audio, so hopefully everybody's hearing me. Risa, if you want to nod your head. I got you on video. Okay, great. We are recording this, so we will put it up in our first and third playlist on Schmidt Video Classroom as soon as we have it available. So this is Moxie. Let me move my little Zoom thing. So this is Moxie. This is what your account looks like when you first log in. If you as ASCs, RSCs, and managers don't have some of the features I'm going to show you, just reach out to me. We're still playing around with some of the roles and everything that we need, learning as we go. Moxie's making changes as we go. So just let us know if you're not seeing something that you feel that you should need to have for your particular position. So we are going to be talking about Engage, but first I want to announce our hub is up and running with our external links as well. This announcement will be going out to the agents just as soon as I can get it together, but I did want to let you guys know that it is available. So if you click on your account in the upper right corner, you'll see this link for external links. And then once that loads, the first 3 are just standard that come with Moxie. I'm actually trying to get them taken off of there, but we haven't gotten that far yet. But D-Signs and CB Exchange, when you click on either of these links, it'll auto log you into our portal so that the agents won't have to know their username or password to get into any of the brand tools. There is a spot in their account that it's the internal ID, and that is where you put their CB Exchange login, which is usually first.last@coldwellbanker.com. So that will allow them to auto log into CB Exchange. For those of you in Michigan, Ohio, and Florida West Coast, this is the same feature that Online Office had previously, and we do have it up and running now here. The other place to get here is from the hub, which is actually the home button. And we will be building this out as we go. We're actually going to iframe Schmidt resources into here, so your agents will have a one-stop shop to get anywhere they need to go. But CB Exchange login and the D-Signs login are both found here today actively. And if your agent says that they can't log in and they're getting a 404 error, we just have to make sure we check that internal agent ID to ensure that it's correct as it is reflected in Dash as their login. So where that would go is if you click on your the head again in My Account, and if you click the pencil for edit, it's going to be on personal info, I believe, right here. So we're on personal info, internal agent ID, and you can see that's my coldwellbanker.com login. So for you to be able to update that for your agents, you want to go to the left where it says Management Tools, Manage Companies, or yours may say Manage Region or Manage Office, depending on the status of your security levels. And you find the person that you want to update, click on them, and it's the same process. Wait for it to load. Wait very patiently for it to load. There we go. Click the pencil. Hopefully I'm coming through pretty loud and clear. Internet seems to have slowed up a bit. Make sure you're on personal info and then update their internal agent ID. So that is what's going to tie them into that single sign-on option for CB Exchange, whether they're getting to it from external links or if they're getting to it from the homepage. So pretty exciting new feature. For those of you that were used to an online office, it did go away for a little bit because of the switchover. So we're glad that it's back up and running for the agents. And we'll be adding in other vendors here, like listings to leads, .loop, app files, any vendor that we work with. Essentially, we want to write that API so that we have that single sign-on for the agents. So that's pretty exciting. I don't see any questions now. So that is true, Risa. In Florida, the governor is signing a stay-at-home order. So they'll be a lot in line with Ohio. So Ohio has a stay-at-home order, but real estate was deemed essential, which is what it sounds like is going to happen in Florida. So you guys are in it for the long haul as well. So we're going to click on Engage up here in the menu bar. And then once that loads, what I'm seeing is my manager dashboard. Oh, whoever's getting a phone call, if you could mute. Oh, somebody's making a phone call. Let me just mute them real quick. Doesn't want to let me mute. Okay. There we go. So this is the manager level. So this is actually the 522 office, which is the office I typically sit at. And so these are all of the agents. So this is the view that you should have, and this is the view that your managers should have. And if they have not set a goal, which means the agents essentially haven't logged into Engage, because it's one of the first things you have to do when you log into Engage, it makes you set a goal. It's going to say not set. Anybody that has a goal, but the status is red, means they haven't reached their goal. So you can see my husband set his goal. He's at 11%. And so he's red. Anybody that has set a goal and they're close to their goal will be yellow. And anybody that has set a goal and are at their goal will be green, at their goal or higher. So you can see this office hasn't engaged very much yet in this product. So this will be something really good as we move forward in these uncertain times to be able to reach out to the agents and get them set up into the system. So again, that's from up here where you can toggle. So if you are working in the product as an agent, maybe using it for training, or maybe you are also an agent, like some of you in Ohio, you can toggle back and forth from right here. This is important to notate for your managers as well, because a lot of your managers are selling real estate, so they can utilize the product with one login. They don't have to have separate logins on the manager level and the agent mode. So when we switch over to agent mode, this is our Engage dashboard, and it's going to sync through to my Schmidt Family of Companies provided G Suite account. So for myself, it's Schmidt HQ. For those in Michigan, it'll be CB Great Lakes. For those of you in Ohio, CB Schmidt Ohio. And Florida, you're either CBSMFL or CBParadise.com. Those are the Schmidt Family of Company provided G Suite accounts. Once you log into Engage the first time, by going to your dashboard and clicking on Engage, it's going to sync your contacts and your calendar over from your Gmail account, whether it's one of those different variations. So you can see I have my calendar that's coming over here. It has my people in it. I haven't moved anybody through the process because I don't sell real estate. So I don't have anybody in my pipeline, but I do have my people from my email address synced over here. And you can see my goal is 0. So when your agents first log into Engage, and I can't really show you this because I've already done it and I don't have an account where I can get into, it's going to pop up a screen and say, hey, let's do a quick tutorial, and it's going to ask for that GCI goal. They can always go back and change it, but we really highly recommend them getting in there and starting to work with this product, even if it's as simple as setting their goal and syncing the email. So that goal is tracked automatically with the MLS. So as a property closes in the MLS, it's going to feed over to Moxie, and it's going to be able to track that GCI for your agents automatically, and also for your managers. So your managers can keep an eye on them, help coach them along, see what they may need. Obviously, right now we all need a lot of virtual information, and thankfully the marketing group is providing that. But this will be really good for your managers to be able to coach your agents. So really just encourage them all to set a goal. And as you're in your manager mode, whether you're the ASC or the manager, again, just maybe take one or two a day based on your workload, and give them a call and say, hey, do you have time? Do you want to set up a time? Maybe do a group of them. Maybe get 6 or 7 together and do a lunch and learn. Say, okay, everybody's going to log in. We're all going to set our goals, and we're all going to make sure our contacts are synced over. So we just really want to encourage them to start doing that today. Now, there is a caveat when it comes to syncing their email addresses. Obviously, it's easy when they're using their Schmidt Family of Companies provided email address, but we know a lot of the agents don't. So there's a couple of options here. If your agent's gotten to Engage and they say it says it's syncing and it's going to take 15 minutes and it's been 3 days, that means their sync email is incorrect. That means that they're not running an actual Schmidt Family of Companies G Suite account. So there's 2 options. We can create that account for them. Most likely they are in what we consider a group, which is basically just a forward. So say, no, thank you, Mr. Manager. I'm not going to use carrie.scomp@cbgreatlakes.com. I want to use carrielynscomp@gmail.com. So essentially, we don't create a G Suite account for them. We create them as part of a group. So they still get the email from carrie.scomp@cbgreatlakes.com, but it's simply forwarded to the other group member, which in that example scenario was carrielynscomp@gmail.com. What we're recommending is that the agents actually get a G Suite account to start utilizing with Moxie. And a couple of reasons. One is it's more secure because we control the data. 2 is it's a Schmidt provided product, so it helps keep them associated with the company. And then it syncs seamlessly with Moxie. So a lot of good reasons to create an account. Sometimes agents don't want to change how they operate, and that's okay too. So not only will our Schmidt Family of Companies Gmail sync over to Engage, any Gmail will. We've opened this up for agents. Now, unfortunately, if they're sitting on a Yahoo, a Hotmail, an AOL, a Charter, if they're sitting on something else besides an actual Gmail, they're not going to be able to use that email address in Moxie. It has to either be the Schmidt provided G Suite account or an actual gmail.com account. So if you have an agent, I sell real estate at gmail.com, and they have all of their contacts in there and they really just want to use that email address, all you have to do is reach out to the support team. You support@moxieworks.com. Or of course, there's a help button on every single page within all of the products. All you have to do is let them know that you would like the agent's sync email to be updated, and then provide the agent name and the Gmail account that they want to use. Once that's done by the support team, the next time the agent logs into Engage, all of their contacts from their Gmail will come over. So again, keep in mind, they don't have to utilize the Schmidt Family of Companies G Suite, but they do have to utilize a Gmail in order to sync with Moxie. It does not work with any other type of email like Yahoo, AOL, or any of those other ones. So if you have an agent that really wants to dig into Moxie, which of course we are very highly encouraging because it's been proven to raise productivity for agents and companies alike. If you have an agent that would like to do that, but they don't have a G Suite account, just reach out to whomever in your regions do your agent onboarding. So in Michigan, your RSCs or myself can help out. In Ohio, Stephanie can access those accounts. In Florida, I believe it's Lori Bradley and Robin Ulstor that can do that. Or of course, if you don't know where to go, just reach out to me and we'll make it happen. So essentially what we do in that case is we delete the group and then create an actual G Suite account for the agent. Now, even if they choose to do that, doesn't mean they need to get rid of their old email address that they were forwarding to. They can still re-forward the email from the G Suite account over to wherever their endpoint is that they would prefer. But the contacts do have to be put into the G Suite account in order to sync over to Moxie. I think I have a question, so let me pop over here real quick. Yes, Sue. So all ASCs and RSCs and managers should have that toggle. So if you should be able to see manager and agent. So if you don't, Sue, just shoot me a quick email and I'll take a look at your account right after the call and we'll get you up and running the way you need to see it. So for Sue's point, if you as an ASC or manager or RSC click on this and you don't see 2 options, let me know. That just means that we need to update your security levels. where are we at? Oh, we're at syncing. So if your agents say, well, I've put all my contacts into Zap and they're there, how do I get them over to Moxie? It's pretty simple. You go into Zap, you export them, and then you go into their Gmail, whether it's at gmail.com or at CB Great Lakes, whatever the Schmidt provided ones are, and then you upload them into the contacts. Once that's done, they sync over automatically to, I'm sorry, my cat just scared me. This is my cat, Jameson. I don't know if you can see it, but he just scared me. Woo, working from home. So fun. Anyway, so once those, and it doesn't need to necessarily be from Zap. Perhaps they're using Top Producer. Perhaps they're using another product where their contacts are kept. Anytime that they can get that information into a CSV file, they can get it over to their G Suite account. So in G Suite, you click your little menu button and go into contacts. When you click on create contact and create multiple contacts, right here, import contacts, you can import an entire database, whether they've exported that from Zap or from somewhere else. So once that's put into the account that they have synced with Moxie, those will automatically come into Moxie. So for example, if we go back to my account, go back to my dashboard, you probably saw I had about 5,700 contacts. I didn't put a single contact into Moxie. They all synced over from my Schmidt family of companies provided email address. So again, if your agents are sitting on a Yahoo and they've never utilized the G Suite account, have them reach out to whoever processes agents in your region or myself, and we will make sure that we create that account for them so that they can start using this product to its fullest. And if you have an agent currently operating a Gmail, all we have to do is contact support, ask them to update the sync email, and then they'll be able to do that for us. It's a little confusing, and I've asked for them to change this, and they haven't yet. It's probably going to take a new build. But when you go into their accounts and you click on the pencil, when you're adding a new agent, it actually does let you put a sync email in, but we're not able to change it. So when you click on contact info, you see it's not there anywhere. That's why the support team has to do it. So if you're adding a new agent and you know on the front end they're going to want to use their personal Gmail account, you can put that in when you're putting in new agents. But to change any existing agents, we just have to reach out to that support team and ask them to update that for us. And then once that's done, they essentially reset the account on the back end. Won't affect the websites or anything that your agents may have already updated, but it'll reset their Engage, and then they'll be able to sync those email addresses across. Also, the important reason why you do want to have it synced is because anytime you put a new contact in, say after we get past our 30 days and we're back operating and your agent holds an open house and they get contact information, as soon as they put that contact information into their email account, it's automatically going to show up in their Engage account. It's an automatic sync. Now, some of the complaints that we've been getting, or concerns, I won't say complaints, some of the concerns that we've been hearing is, I have 5,700 agents in my email, half of them are family, some of them are vendors. I don't really want them in my Engage, and that's okay. You can delete people out of Engage and it will not back sync to your email. So say I put John Doe in my email contact, it's going to show up into MoxiEngage. If John Doe was a temporary person that I did one transaction with and I don't want to ever see their name again, you can delete them out of Engage. They'll still be in your email contacts. It doesn't back sync, it only forward syncs. So I hope that makes sense, because some of the agents were concerned that if they did delete some contacts in Engage, that it would delete them out of their email, and that's not the case. It only forward syncs. So when you go into your dashboard, oh, and I'm still in manager, let me go over to agent, and you go into all people. And obviously this is a test one. That's probably from a long ago test from Zap. You can do two things. You can add them as a client. So perhaps you'll be transacting them with you, or they'll be in some of that sales pipeline coming forward, or you can mark them as a non-client. So people like title companies, home inspectors, those could be non-clients. But you can delete them out of here as well by doing remove from Engage. So that would be maybe and I always say leave family in, because who's your better sphere of influence than your family, right? But some people don't want to bother mom or dad with this information. So perhaps it's a family member that you don't want to engage with. You can click remove from engage. It's going to make sure that you really want to. So you click remove and it'll confirm it in the upper right corner there. But if I was to go back into my contacts right now, that Zoe Webster would still be in there. It did not delete it out of my Gmail contacts list. It only deleted it out of my Engage account. So hopefully that will take some of those concerns that the agents have had away. I had a question. Let me read it. What about the contacts that still have those dots that are coming up red in contacts? She's removed hers, but it looks like you have a bunch. So yes, thank you, Risa. I had a very enthusiastic conversation with Moxie after we first rolled this out, and we had our email sync, and they said, oh, that can't be us. It's never happened before. Well, it did happen. So a lot of you are struggling with this as well. And essentially, to Risa's point, what happened was, and this goes way back, this goes back to Rackspace. So if you remember, gosh, probably a year ago, 13, 14 months ago, when we switched over to G Suite from Rackspace in Michigan, Ohio, and Florida West Coast, they're blaming it now on that. So when these contacts were imported during the G Suite transition, and then you went to sync with Moxie, this occurred. So essentially what it did is it took their email address and pushed it into the secondary email instead of the first email. So if you're struggling with this in your own G Suite accounts, and especially if you have group emails set up so it pulls in 20, 30 people at a time, it's really easy to update. You just click the pencil, and essentially all I do is just copy and paste it over. And then once it's there, then it's going to read correctly and those dots will go away. However, if you go back to Moxie, let me just look for that contact. And it may have already updated. I'll probably never find the right one. And it already did change it. But essentially, it's going to be okay in Moxie because it's still going to show up in that secondary email position. But do you see how fast that changed? I just made that change in my Google G Suite contacts form, and it automatically updated in Moxie. So pretty cool that it's that fast. So thank you for that question, Risa. And unfortunately, I've been asking and hounding and probably making daily phone calls to them, and yet there is no way to automatically correct those at this point. That's pretty much what I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute. Some of you that had to take phone calls, I may have muted you. So if you have a question and I'm not answering, it might be because you're on mute. So check that out. Or of course, if you don't have audio, to go ahead and type it in the box and then we can get those questions answered. But while we wait for questions to come through, I'll kind of just recap in case some of you had to come on late. So the first exciting new thing I showed you guys was our hub is finally being built out with our single sign-ons. So again, one click and it automatically will log the agent in. If it doesn't, if they're getting a 404 error or a sit and spin, always a favorite of ours, go ahead and check their account for that internal ID. And that should be their Coldwell Banker provided login. So however they get into CB Exchange, Zap, CBX seller leads, typically first.last@coldbanker.com. That's what they would need to have put in that internal agent ID. So pretty exciting. They can get to it from there. Or of course they can get to it from here and external links. And as we build these out, as we work with our vendors and get more single sign-ons, this list will just continue to grow. The second thing we went over is the goals. We're really encouraging every single agent to get into Engage and set their goal. The good news is, even if they are adamant Zap users, if they're adamant top producer users and they're not going to use actively this CRM, we still want their goal in there. And the reason why that is because our managers will be able to track it. Once the goal is in, the MLS takes over and does the rest. So as they have closings, as they transact in the MLS, it's automatically fed into Engage and will track their productivity. The only caveat to that are created sales. We have noticed that if an agent is putting a created sale into the MLS, they're not tracking over to Moxie. So that's a known issue that we're trying to work over. Don't have one yet. You can put transactions into Moxie. So if that's the case and your agent loves the product, which they all should because it's amazing, and they want to put that created sale in, they simply build that out by adding a transaction to the person in their dashboard that they transacted with. So that there is an opportunity to do it, even though it's not automatic. But everything else, all regular MLS activity will sync over. So even if your agent, is going to stick with Zap or stick with Top Producer and they don't want to do this, please still encourage them to at least log in, at least set their goal. And then this will help the managers be able to help them through their careers. They'll be able to know where they're tracking on their goal. If they're really far behind, well, we need to have a conversation. Do we need to get you into coaching? Is there something in your home life that we can help you with to help you get back on track, whatever it might be? So again, please encourage every single agent to log into Engage at least one time. Super easy process. It'll walk them through a tutorial and it basically just says, hey, what's your GCI goal for this year? And then at the manager level or ASC level, you'll be able to track where they're at on their goal. Now, there's obviously other things here in the snapshot as well. How many people do they have in their marketing flow? How many people do they have in their prospects flow? How many do they have actively? How many contracts are pending? And then, of course, if they've had any neighborhood news, that's what the NN is, neighborhood news there. If you as ASCs wouldn't mind also taking a look at this list, because obviously we had a time frame there where we took all of our information and dumped it into Moxie, but we weren't quite fully up and running. So some agents that left the company or maybe came on the company in that time frame will either be on this dashboard or not. So we just want to make sure that these rosters are active and reflect actively the agents in your offices. Obviously, this is much easier and bite-sized to do on the office level. So please take a look. For those ASCs and RSCs working the hubs in Michigan, obviously this is a monumental task right now as you're covering 3, 4, 5, 6 offices. So if you need help with this, or if you really want to do this for the managers but don't have time, let me know. We can get you help elsewhere. We can encourage the managers to go in here and take a look. So just let us know what we can do to help, because we really want to get all the goals in here and we really want to make sure that the agent lists are accurate. Well, I hope you guys are still with me. I haven't had any questions come in. So if you have anything after the fact, of course, always reach out to me. You can still call my desk phone. It rings my cell phone right here. Hopefully my cat will behave himself and not scare me again. You can email me. A lot of you have my cell number. You can text me. You can Google chat me. I'm pretty accessible. So just reach out and let me know if you have any questions at all. So thanks everybody for your time. I appreciate it. Take care. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Bye, guys.